My name is Kory Earle, and I am the president of People First of Canada. People First of Canada is a national voice for people labeled with an intellectual disability. The world of intellectual disability is a difficult place. There is a basic struggle to be included in ways that many people outside the world can't even begin to understand. Nothing is easy. Along with that, most people outside in the world of intellectual disability and disability in general all think we are suffering. But people with intellectual disabilities are not suffering from having an intellectual disability. People with Down syndrome or fetal alcohol syndrome disorder or autism or any other kind of intellectual disability we will not usually die from it. Like everyone else in our country, we usually die from cancers and diseases and other incidents. What we do suffer from is high rates of poverty. We're also suffering from extremely low rates of employment. Unfortunately, many of us suffer from violence and abuse more than any other groups in society. Many of us suffer from poor health care. We're not often treated well in our own healthcare system. We're not given enough time and information in plain language. Often we're unable to get the right supports for our mental health needs because we have an intellectual disability. Our mental health and our disability become mixed up. And many of us suffer from being excluded and isolated. We weren't included in school or after school. We don't have jobs. We don't have the money to go out and do things. If the medical assistance in dying laws are opened up so that this suffering helps us to qualify for medical assistance in dying, it will make it easier for us to die using the process. If it wasn't so sad, it would almost be funny, and I will tell you why. Like I said, everything, and I mean everything, is more difficult for people with intellectual disabilities. Many other things should be made easier. This is not one of them. But I can tell you that what should be made easier for people with intellectual disabilities, it should be made easier for us to live in our community. We need access to safe and affordable housing. We should not be homeless, but many of us are. We should not live in fear of being put in an institution, but many of us do. It should be made easier to get a good education. Most people with intellectual disabilities, myself included, have had not good education. Have not had good education. Some have had no education. We need inclusive classrooms and schools and policies. It should be easier for us to get a decent paying job so we don't have to live in poverty. People with intellectual disabilities have a very low rate of employment. We need more inclusive employers and businesses. It should be made easier for us to be included and to have friends and be part of our communities. But we're often left out, and many of us have a few friends, if any. We need a disability supports that allow us to have a social life of some kind and should be included. We need better rates. We need better rates of assistance. It should be easier to get help when we're being abused or harmed. We are also assaulted and abused more than other groups in society, and we look for help. We're often not believed. Our cases are thrown out of courts because our words are not credible. We need a justice system that will accommodate our disability with extra time and plain language. It should be easier for us to exercise our legal capacity. We can make our own decisions and choices. It will look different for every one of us, just like it is different for all of you. With the right supports, we can make our own decisions. But people continually judge us as not being able to run our own lives. They question our right to make our own decisions. They see our disability and they decide we can't. There are a lot of things that we can and should be made easier for people with intellectual disabilities in our country and in our society. But making it easier to use medical assistance and dying to end our own lives is not one of them. Thank you, everyone.